Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Malicious Compliance. Story 1. We have to visit the library daily to borrow a book for weeks, no problem. This happened around 6 years ago, back when I was still in middle school. It's probably one of the more mundane entries here, but I still remember how entirely stupid this whole ordeal is. For context, the cool librarian we had, who was very lenient in terms of borrowing books as long as we ensured it's safe in our hands, recently resigned due to old age. Here comes new librarian, let's call her Ms. Sam, who was, pretty much a stickler in terms of borrowing books. It's probably due to safety, but man, her rule was ridiculous. In case anyone here's not familiar with borrowing books from the library, essentially what you have to do is that you need to get the library card of the book you want to borrow signed and returned on the assigned day/week you were supposed to return it. The thing is, Ms. Sam wanted every student to keep returning the books daily, which means we have to go to the library every day to get our library cards signed. I had to borrow our music book for one of our subjects for weeks, given that it covers most of the topics needed for it. I begged Ms. Sam to let me keep the book for an extended amount of time, because I really needed it, but she didn't allow me to do so. Q in malicious compliance. Every day, non-stop, I went to the library to get my card signed. 1 day passed, 2 days, 3 days, a week, 2 weeks. I literally needed the book for an extended period of time and she didn't allow me? Well, she's gonna get a library card that's filled to the brim with my name. Yes, I literally filled the card back to back with my name. All because she wanted to implement the stupid rule that defeats the purpose of the library card in the first place. At the start of the 3rd week, she eventually gave up and just told me, just return it when you don't need it anymore. Took her long enough. Story 2. When management threw away the guardian of the machine. Context: this machine was made for creating grooves and cuts in cardboard. 20 foot by 20 foot machine made of iron, wrought iron, and cast iron. The only piece of computer on her was an aftermarket safety system with a lock and key. My workmates and I started to use chalk to mark out common settings and help us know if things were rubbing correctly or wrongly. So we were using our own money to buy chalk to use at work. And one of the guys would buy those massive kids' sidewalk chalks as thick as a candy bar. During downtime, or setups, or while waiting for the last piece to be set up by the last guy, we would take turns carving pieces of chalk into rough shapes like Buddha, tiki, cats, and it would become the guardian of the machine. Until we used it. Q. Management, seeing us have any sort of fun or engagement as humans, tosses it. Demands we never have it in the building again. If it isn't provided by the company, then it isn't allowed. Vibration 27ths. Bolts get loose. Pieces rub. Friction. Heat. Cardboard dust. Fire. And to this day there is probably a piece of, company bought, chalk that has been amateurly carved upon sitting on that machine. Never mess with the guardian of the machine. Story 3. You demand that we honor your reservation. Sure thing. A few years back, I worked at one of the big car rentals in a rather small city in Germany. We had 2 offices, one in the outskirts with quite a sizable lot and a very small one at the train station, 4 official parking spots in front of the office, about 6 parking spots at the other end of the train station at the staff parking lot. We used to not get into trouble for using parking spots we didn't pay for. That one was a bit of a prestige thing because it enabled us to serve our business customers right when they got off the train. Both offices worked closely together, even sharing a vehicle pool within the booking software, and we were expected to move the cars around accordingly. The business at the train station followed a pattern that would repeat every week. Every Monday, business customers would arrive by train, pick up their car to get to their clients during the week and drop them off by the end of the week to leave by train again. Most would drop the car off on Thursday. One week, we could already see disaster approaching by the middle of the previous week. Due to some error in the booking software and some cars spontaneously not returning to our offices, our car pool stood at -60 for Monday at the train station office. See, that's not unusual on a Monday. The problem was that overall, Our shared car pool stood at -15. Since we are quite small and only a franchise of the car rental company, there was no way we would get extra cars from bigger stations, so we started trying to reach out to business customers to inform them that we most likely couldn't serve all reservations and if we could maybe cancel on them. Some understood while some insisted and even more were not available when we tried to contact them. On Friday, my supervisor asked me if I could cover the shift at the train station office on Monday because she knew the colleague who was supposed to would mentally break if yelled at by customers. I knew it would be hell, but knowing that she would have the morning shift at the main office, we were sure we could make it work somehow. I asked to also work on Sunday at the train station office to make sure all cars were ready for the next day since we had around 70 reservations between 6 am and 11 am that day. So I worked my Sunday shift, got everything prepared as far as I could and went home. On Monday, we opened at 6 am. I got in at 5:30 like always and there was already a small line queued up in front of the door. I told them we don't open until 6 and they accepted it. Everything went sort of smoothly until about 8:30 am. All my cars were gone and I received a somewhat steady supply of cars from the main office until then. I constantly kept my supervisor updated with a list of my reservations and which cars from the main office I'd like to have for that, and she tried to make it work. Then she calls me to tell me that she is also out of cars due to some having to be off-fleeted due to mileage or simply not returning. I knew everything would go to shambles after that and mentally prepared for it. I started telling customers that we couldn't possibly serve their reservations. Most understood due to the fact that I didn't have any cars in front of my office, but a few insisted that they get their cars. Cue malicious compliance. I called my supervisor and told her that some clients insisted on getting a move on. Now and no matter how. After some short venting on her side, we came up with an idea. We might not have any cars anymore but had an incredible excess of moving vans, Mercedes Sprinter, VW Crafter, and such, that we didn't really need any of. Now, the train station office isn't supposed to rent out vans, but we found a workaround for that. The transfer drivers had a company car that could be rented out, so I checked it in at my station, created the rental agreement with that, switched my view to the main office and initiated a vehicle switch. All without ever having a physical car at my station. So the rental agreement was completed and the transfer drivers started bringing our white company branded moving vans down to my office. I even told one especially insistent customer that I was able to fulfill his wish for an automatic transmission diesel. I will never forget the look on the face of this suit wearer when he realized he will be driving in a moving van to his client. The train station office satisfaction rating took quite the beating after this, but we didn't really care about that since we rarely got bonuses down there anyway. Story 4. Ida for doing chores the way my husband suggested, resulting in his stuff being ruined. I'll keep this short. I work from home and make less than my husband, so I do more chores in general. I'm fine with this, but he never seems happy when I am done with the chores. The pillows are not fluffed enough on the couch or the mopping is done wrong. The worst is that he will tell me to do the chores wrong, use boiling water when mopping, we have fake floors, it will damage them. Use the wire sponge on no-stick pans and so on. It drives me crazy, so he made the comment again about doing it his way and it will be cleaner. So today I did that, took his favorite pan and used the wire sponge to clean it. I recorded it and yes, it scratched the thing up. When he got home he flipped and we got in a huge argument, but my point was I was just doing it as he told me to. He called me a jerk and I am doubting myself since I did mess up a good pan. Story 5. My old roommates want me to deep clean to their high example. Background: here is me and my 2 roommates are all moving out. I'm moving a few blocks down, by the end of the month. They moved out of state from Alaska, so anything they wanted needed to be in a suitcase for the plane or in the containers U-Haul will ship out. They took 2 weeks off work to deal with the move, and I'm still working. The husband and I made an agreement that they would clean their areas, and I would clean mine. 1 bedroom, the extra room for storage, their bathroom, and the living room which was all their stuff, and then the kitchen since I thought they took all the cookware. Since the only things outside my bathroom and room was a single storage box of shelf-stable food, and some food in the kitchen, that is all I was supposed to clean, but it was to be at the level they did the rest. I'm posting here, so obviously they did a shit job. There is a pile of trash in every room they cleaned. The fridge has their moldy food. All the trash cans are full. Food wrappers and half-empty bottles of water and juice on every surface. Stray cat litter and food in every room of theirs. Their room and bathroom, which I was never supposed to enter, had stuff all over. The only good thing is they left the freezer and some of the pantry full, but mostly with stuff that's long expired. I'm not petty enough to leave this disaster to the landlord because it's not his fault. But the carpet cleaning, deep cleaning of the bathroom, beyond normal cleaning, sweeping up the cat's areas, etc. Why the hell would I bother? Added benefit, the security deposit is entirely in their name, and because I paid my portion of the rent to them and not the landlord, I can't even be charged for the cleaning. TLDR, roommates expect me to deep clean the apartment they already left from, to their example. Then leave a mess. So I'll skip the deep clean since I can't get the security deposit anyway. Edit, I wasn't totally clear, but the roommates are a married couple. Thanks everyone. Didn't really expect this to blow up. Story 6. Ida for wearing short shorts to the gym even after being asked to stop. So I am a big guy. I work out daily. I go to 3 gyms regularly. I wear and have worn what we lovingly call ranger panties. They are short shorts. Think Magnum Pie. I usually get attention for this, but it's usually just old men that roll their eyes. Occasionally women stare. Nothing out of control. I've been doing it for years. Well, recently a woman joined my gym that seems obsessed with my legs. She will walk over every time she sees me. Well, her husband came with her the other day. He proceeded to have a mental breakdown over his wife talking to me. He came over and asked if I thought my shorts were appropriate. I responded by asking him not to objectify me for being beautiful. Which made him very mad. Staff got involved and asked me to cover up for a little while. I said sure. So the next day I came in smaller shorts but with a long sleeve shirt. He was with her and lost his mind. When staff came again to talk to me, I said I had been working out like this here for years. I've also seen women wear a hell of a lot less. So I would not be changing anytime soon. Which they just shrugged it. So Reddit Ida? Update: if you want to see my legs, they are now my profile pic. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.